People say your life can change in a single second, and for Ella Dawson, that second came the moment she whispered the words she feared most: "I can't have children." She expected silence, pity, maybe even a step backward. What she never expected was the tall cowboy in the sun-faded hat letting out a small laugh before saying, "Good. I've got enough kids for both." And just like that, her heart, so used to disappointment, forgot how to stay guarded. If you're listening, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because the story you're about to hear may just remind you that family isn't always something you're born into, sometimes it's something that finds you. Ella had always lived quietly, working in the back of a small-town library, arranging books, returning to an empty apartment, and pretending she didn't notice how life kept moving in directions she was never invited to follow. She had dreamed of being a mother for as long as she could remember, dreamed of cribs and tiny socks and a toddler's laugh echoing in warm rooms. So when the doctor told her at 27 that she would never carry a child, she mourned a life she'd never get the chance to create. And after that, she stopped dreaming at all. But the universe has a strange way of sending what you need long before you're brave enough to ask for it. For Ella, it arrived on a dusty afternoon, when her car broke down on the side of a road 3 miles outside of Ridge Creek. The heat was harsh, the air smelled of dry grass, and her phone had no signal. She thought she was alone, until a pickup truck rolled to a stop beside her, and a man with laugh lines, broad shoulders, and mud on his boots stepped out. "Need a hand?" he asked. That was the first time she met Luke Branson, 35, widowed father of 4, a rancher whose work never seemed to end. To her, he looked like a man with too much responsibility to be noticing a stranger on the side of the road. To him, she looked like someone who had forgotten her own strength. Luke fixed her car, refused payment, and insisted she stop by Branson Ranch for dinner so she wouldn't drive home alone after dark. She meant to say no. But then a little girl with freckles ran up to him calling, "Daddy, Daddy." You came back, and suddenly Ella found herself stepping into a world warmer than she had ever known. Dinner turned into conversations. Conversations turned into visits. Visits turned into weeks, then months, of sharing stories, laughter, and quiet moments that made Ella feel seen for the first time in years. She helped the kids with homework, braided hair, read bedtime stories, and learned the rhythms of ranch life, feed the horses at dawn, gather the eggs before the hens got cranky, and always make room for unexpected chaos. But even as her bond with the family deepened, a secret sat heavy in her chest. Luke's kids adored her. Luke seemed to glow whenever she walked into the room. And Ella, she felt something growing that scared her. She knew that if she stayed, this ranch might start feeling like home. One evening, after the kids had gone to bed, Luke found Ella sitting on the porch steps, staring out at the fading light. Her hands trembled slightly, and though she tried to hide it, Luke noticed. "You're quiet tonight," he said gently, lowering himself beside her. She swallowed hard. "There's something I need to tell you." He waited, patient as always. "I can't have children," she whispered. "I can't give you what your kids already lost. I can't give you more family. And you deserve someone who can." The night was silent, her breath uneven. She prepared herself for the familiar sting, sympathy that felt like pity, distance disguised as kindness, the slow fading of someone who no longer wanted her. But Luke surprised her. A slow, warm smile spread across his face. "Good," he said softly. "I've got enough kids for both." Ella blinked, stunned. "What?" Luke looked at her like she had just offered him something priceless. "Ella, I've been standing in chaos for 4 years, lunchboxes, tantrums, school plays, sick days, horses escaping the pen, laundry that multiplies like rabbits. I don't need more children. I need a partner. Someone kind. Someone steady. Someone who sits with my kids when they cry and listens when they talk. Someone who laughs with us, eats with us, and reminds us what gentle feels like." He touched her trembling hands. You're already giving them more than biology ever could." Her tears came fast, hot and uncontrollable. Luke didn't hesitate, he pulled her close, as if he had known all along that she belonged in his arms. But love wasn't the only challenge waiting for them. Luke's eldest son, Jake, 14 and fiercely protective, didn't trust easily. He had seen his father hurt before, watched the emptiness that followed his mother's passing. When he realized Ella was becoming more than just a visitor, he pushed her away, told her she wasn't his real mom, told her she didn't belong. Those words cut deep, reopening wounds Ella thought she had finally learned to live with. One afternoon, after Jake snapped at her again, Ella stepped outside to breathe. Her hands were shaking. What if loving them meant losing them one day? What if she was forcing herself into a space she was never meant to fill? But later that night, she found Jake outside by the barn, wiping his cheeks angrily. He didn't notice her at first. "I don't want her to take Mom's place," he muttered to the horse he was brushing. Ella stepped forward carefully. "Jake. I'm not here to replace your mom." He stiffened. She continued quietly, "Your mom is part of you. Nothing changes that. Not me, not anyone." Her voice trembled, but she kept going. "But I care about you. All of you. And I'm not trying to be your mom. I'm just trying to be someone who's here for you, however you'll let me." For a long moment, he said nothing. Then Jake whispered, barely audible, "I was scared you'd leave too." Her heart broke wide open. She knelt beside him. "I'm not going anywhere." He leaned into her then, not a hug, not fully, but something close enough that she felt the shift. The beginning of trust. From that night on, things changed. Ella became part of the family in a way that didn't need labels. The kids sought her out for help with school projects, ran to show her their drawings, argued over who got to sit beside her at dinner. Luke watched it all with a quiet joy that made her chest warm. Months passed. Seasons shifted. And one golden evening, with the sun dipping behind the hills and the sound of laughter drifting from the house, Luke took Ella's hand. "I've been thinking," he said simply. She smiled. "About what?" "About how this ranch has been missing something." He paused, eyes soft but sure. "You." Her breath caught. He went on, "Ella, I don't care that you can't have children. We already have a family, one you've helped rebuild. All I care about is making the rest of our lives something we're proud of. Together." And then, with a small velvet box pulled from his pocket, he asked her to marry him. Ella didn't hesitate. "Yes," she whispered, tears streaking down her cheeks. The kids burst out of the house minutes later, shouting and hugging and crying and laughing, not caring that dinner was burning, the dogs were barking, and the ranch was pure chaos, as always. But for the first time, Ella didn't feel like a guest in that chaos. She felt like she belonged. When the wedding day finally came, simple, quiet, held beneath the wide sky of Ridge Creek, Ella looked at the 4 children standing proudly beside her and knew something deep and unshakable. Family wasn't measured by blood or biology. It was measured by love, by choice, by effort, by the courage to stay even when fear whispered otherwise. And as she and Luke walked back toward their future hand in hand, the children racing ahead of them in excitement, she realized something even more powerful. Sometimes life gives you a different ending than the one you prayed for. Sometimes, it gives you something better.